Ladies and gentlemen, it is combat cast time for Sektor and Cyrax in Mortal Kombat 1. The fact that Noob Saibot is being excluded from this combat cast tells a lot that NRS knows Noob Saibot is the biggest pull outside the guest characters like Ghostface. Hit the subscribe button. Road to rank 1 is tomorrow, and I'm starting tomorrow's episode at rank 180.
Of this trailer, what is your favorite?
Definitely Sektor's rocket launcher and the rocket launcher moves. I love that, originally in MK3, Robot Sektor would shoot everything out of his chest compactor, and now she is
a little more grounded.
suit, and she has just a giant rocket launcher that she can shoot. And I love the VFX, the smoke trail, the sound effects. It's very, very satisfying to shoot that thing.
Going up into space, and you see all the bloop, 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 on like the helmets. I think it's pretty cool. And then you come back down, they're frozen. I like it. It's a fun way to die.
It's pretty overkill.
It's a fun way to die.
I love a lot of just the aerial stuff, the bombing up into the air, and then they're sending missiles down. It's just like a full-on barrage at all times, and I think that's really cool to see. And again, the effects, nailed it. Really feel good about those. They look awesome, and it feels like you're just constantly under pressure by this.
It definitely looks like you're constantly
machine.
under pressure.
Two things I want to say about that. The first one being that Sektor's finisher is really, really cool. I like the Iron Man nod, and it's probably one of the best alongside things like Liu Kang's. And then following that, when we're talking about Sektor's movement, I think the gun is cool. It's a throwback to MK Gold, I believe. But yeah, does it not remind you a little bit of this guy right here, which is definitely spooky, but oh well.
Now we will be getting to Sektor to show you how she plays in a little bit. But before then, I do want to get onto a few things. Over the next couple streams, we're going to be talking about some things coming up in the Chaos Reigns, which comes September 24th. Ooh. Very exciting. There have been a lot of people asking about Havoc.
What?
Really?
And
Havoc?
And Chaos Reigns?
Yeah, right.
What
And
are the
is
chances?
Havoc going to get any changes, any buffs, anything like that? Well, as a Havoc main, I have good news for you. Havoc has some stuff coming, and to show you, we have a brief video we'd like to show, and then we'll come back and explain what you saw.
Havoc
some
buffs
chaos into
are
it.
Yep.
finally here. It was kind of obvious because of the first trailer.
Oh!
Okay, so he's an in-stair overhead.
Now, this might
and a
be
low.
something you want to go back and watch again to see what had happened, but there are a couple things in that video which, if you know Havoc, or if you've played against Havoc, you know are very different. For instance, in the match, Liu Kang uses his Towards 434, which has a big gap. Now, Havoc's arm flail is now faster, and the armor starts up quicker, so it actually can get through that. So that's a big change for Havoc.
So he can armor more gaps.
It gives you, it just gives you enough time. It's fast enough to punish, which is nice. He also has a new move in the air you might have seen. It's kind of a stretchy kick. If you use meter on that, it actually
Havoc leg.
Right. If you use meter on that, it actually pops up, it's a ground bounce. So you're able to get a little more
Bounce.
More bounce in your stuff.
More bounce for your back.
There you go.
And get some more combos out. He also has a new move, which is a low launcher.
Yeah, this one, I really love the animation.
He has an overhead low launcher, one of which being essentially a Natara dive kick.
It's the easier way to do it.
Yeah.
More combo potential again. And then finally, his Jump 2-4 has a different reaction, so you can do just more combos. It used to, I believe, you used to push you back further. Now you're able to do more combos right there in the middle. So
that was something else I
Havoc got. So I'm sure you're going to want to go back and watch that. But as Havoc fans, I'm sure you're going to enjoy those changes. Really going to change up how Havoc plays. Now, there is a lot of other stuff coming for other characters, and we'll try to get to some of that in future streams. But today, we're also going to talk about some Cameo.
Before we go to the Cameo, what I think about that is Havoc will become really strong. I already thought Havoc had all the tools to be good. He just had no mix, and his buttons were kind of slow. If he gets an overhead, instant dive kick launch, and then a low, he can now pair it with all the overhead cameos in the game that already launched, like Sonya, Melina ball roll with Chameleon, Scorpion cameo overhead. There are so many things that are now mix-upable, plus he'll be doing more B&B combo damage into the reset due to the new jump attack, and he can end those increased damage combos into the move where all of a sudden he puts the red rope around you and the opponent, which he can just lock you out for another combo at any time. It's kind of absurd. He's going to go up the tier list a lot.
And some have been seen in some of the
So this is
trailers
the
and some of the
cameos now.
teases. But first, we're going to start out with Sub-Zero. So let's take a look at that video.
We already saw Sub-Zero now has an actual freeze, but just like that. Man, Kenshi's going to be annoying. What the? Was that plus on block for Sub-Zero?
Neo Sub-Zero has a parry now.
That was chilly. That was
Okay,
chilly.
very good, very good.
Thank you.
Love parries in any game. So you'll notice in the video when they could have poked, they used the parry,
Right.
which freezes them, and you can also combo after that. Now, a lot of savvy players might start knowing you're going to parry and wait.
And then what can you do?
Well, then you can just throw the clone at them.
You can throw an ice clone?
You can throw the ice clone at advantage too. So there's just
It
another,
is plus,
some-
at
some new
advantage.
stuff to bring into the Sub-Zero.
Who doesn't love throwing the ice clone?
Right, and Havoc. A lot of people use Havoc and Sub-Zero, so this is two things that work well together as well. We also got one more to show today. One of my favorite characters in Mortal Kombat history. Jax has a new move that I think is pretty awesome.
It's a new move, but it's also an old move.
Right, a new move for this game, but he's used
But a
it for
classic,
years.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that video.
I was about to say, Jax's move looks like MK11 so much. It's the exact same animation. Okay, confirmed. All that damage, too, he's doing. All those hits on Chameleon count for damage, by the way, if you
Classic
did not
gotcha
know.
grab.
Yep.
One of the best moves ever. So what you can do with this is if you are playing somebody and they keep using a similar sequence with their cameo, you can call Gotcha Grab out.
He's
Jax
going to
will-
get you.
He'll get you.
He's going to get you.
He will punch the other cameo. He has 2 hits of armor, so you can stop their cameo in their tracks like that.
2
He
hits
mess
of
around.
armor
He does.
is
He does.
absurd. It's going to really
This is
change
another thing
how
that's
some
added
cameos
to
work.
Jax's arsenal to help, and I really enjoy it because I like things that affect other cameos,
Right.
like seeing cameos interact.
And it's like he has now almost the full spectrum of his classic moves, too,
Yeah.
which is cool.
So that'll be fun to use, and I'm sure a lot of people will you play your friends all the time, the same thing. They have the same thing that they do, and now you have this little wrench you can throw in.
I'm going to get you.
And keep in mind, when you're hitting their cameo, their player's taking damage.
Yep, he confirmed it. It's going to do a lot, too. Did you see how many hits that was?
A lot of people are here right now.
Me.
Derek.
All right, when going over the cameo moves, I think the Sub-Zero buff is really good for the characters that already use Sub-Zero. It's going to stop people mashing down 1 for sure. I don't know if you'll be able to do it in gaps yet. If you can, that's absurd. Imagine not having to spend armor. Instead, you could just use your cameo bar that regenerates over time to get full combos on gaps. The fact that it's a parry that can become riskless, I would assume if you decide to spend the throw option where you throw the clone at the opponent and you're plus on block, will take the full cameo bar to do. Just having a riskless parry is huge, that full combos, because that was the thing about MK11. People thought flawless block attacks were riskless. Jax buff is going to be a counter pick nightmare for players. Let's take Scorpion's back 3 into Pharah right here. Everyone gets annoyed by this mix-up because you can't really do anything about it. Unless you have super far range armor, that's kind of guaranteed. If you counterpick Scorpion Pharah with Jax, it looks like all you need to do is just call out Jax after back 3. It will grab Pharah, start doing damage, and then Scorpion's back 3 by itself is negative 19, which makes it punishable. It's only non-punishable when it's special canceled, but your special cancel got eaten by Jax grabbing Pharah.
People really want to see what's up with these condiment characters.
Yes.
Condiment characters,
And we
ketchup
do-
and
there's some
mustard,
fun
shout
stuff,
out.
Like, get hyped. There's some really cool stuff we'll be talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, but we don't want to, take away
Fair.
from this.
Fair.
All right.
So, Stephanie,
Yes.
let's talk about Cyrax first, yeah?
I'm very excited for this. I love the Cyber Ninjas. I've loved them since day 1 in MK3. These are 2 of my favorite MK characters.
So many hand cramps from that combo with
Oh,
Cyrax.
the Cyrax one? Well, the secret is you just hold back and hit high punch and high kick together and it'll come out.
That is cheating.
Some weird old guy at the arcade showed me
No,
that.
I just always.
Hey,
So
the old guy didn't
Tell
need to be
me,
called
when it comes to
weird.
Cyrax, what type of player will gravitate towards the character?
Well, here's how I've always looked at it for like 30 years, for both of them. You have Cyrax is kind of the tricky trap, sneaky character with the bombs. Even back in 95, you had like the different kind of bombs, the anti-air grab and stuff like that. She kind of forces movement, you know, tries to make the person struggle to get in, and then you hit him with the net, and kind of the setup character, kind of a thinking player's character.
Right.
And in the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Sektor, who's like, yeah, that's cool, I shoot a homing rocket.
Yeah. Rockets, punch.
Yeah, more
Rockets,
straightforward and
punch.
all that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's something that we carried on to this. And that's not to say Sektor doesn't have her own share of tricky stuff, but I think Cyrax is going to be a character for really, really creative players, and Sektor is going to be a more straightforward character. And I think it's awesome. They have like the stuff you'd expect from MK9, and then a bunch of new stuff. They both have new mobility options with new technology they didn't have before, and it's very, very cool. I'd say, like a lot of MK1 characters, it's kind of the design team is like, well, what are the key moves that make these characters? Put in some spice.
And salt and pepper.
And some salt and pepper. And some
ketchup and mustard.
And then blend it all together, and we have a new take on these classic characters.
All right. Do we want to take a look at Cyrax?
Let's check her out. All right, so one of the new things she has is on her feet, she has these like jet booster
Her walk
things.
speed is fairly
You can
fast.
see in a lot of her
That down
normal
three is
attacks.
far.
They
What? What was that backdash?
allow her to do a wall jump, which
Okay,
is really
wall
neat.
jumps if she's full screen or cornered.
And she uses them in a lot of her normals. But she also has the gadgets you kind of expect. The buzzsaws from like
Right, hard knockdown.
MK9.
Oh, did you see that jump too?
And speaking of MK9, I think
That's
got to
be one of the
coolest
best
normals
jump
she
twos in the
has
game.
Is a command grab.
Okay,
She switches
command grab.
places
Ooh.
or goes into an attack. And you could like set a bomb.
Bomb
and then you
setups.
can blow up into them. This was
That's
one of
full
her
combo.
strongest moves in MK9. And this is a true command grab. You know, like if they're crouch blocking, it will actually hit them and all that. So that can be super deadly.
The spin into the kick is wonderful. I absolutely love it.
She also has this cool move from Deadly Alliance, and this has a mechanic where you can hold it down, charge it up, and you can cancel it. So you can do fun stuff like your grabs, let it go, fake it out, do the quick version.
That move's fairly interesting, so it looks like it ends in an overhead pop-up launch, which is already great, meaning any low Cameo starters or low moves in general will be a 50-50 mix-up. The cancel is what's interesting, so I'm wondering if you hold the spin the entire time, does Cyrax get plus frames? And if you've already committed to holding it, you could still cancel it, so the opponent might try and mash out. If the opponent tries to mash out, realizing you're about to be plus on block with a down one, you can counter that down one with the overhead for your full launch. And if the opponent respects that option and just eats it all on block, you're plus. That would be a really cool mind game mechanic, in my opinion.
Do fun stuff like your grabs, let it go, fake it out, do the quick version. And she has these cool step kicks.
Okay.
And this ends in kind of
A
a
low
ragdoll
combo
style
starter,
move.
because you could definitely
And when you were saying, like,
finish
trick,
that
that's
string
perfect. That
and do a
spin out
cameo
into
or
the
cancel
like
after
all
the
these
second hit and do a special move.
Her standing high kick is another spinning move, which she can hold it down or cancel it. Or she can do it. No, that's part of the robot suit, is making it so you don't get dizzy.
Okay, that's a nice string right there.
Science.
And then this normal attack, which is definitely my favorite, because I think the bomb part is very, very funny.
Cool.
And that
So-
bomb part, that was normal.
It is, yeah. So let's go into her special moves.
This move right here is interesting. I can't tell if it'll combo with cameos, but it's a normal, so you can also special cancel afterwards. He says it out loud that this right here is still considered a normal attack, even when the second part is hitting.
First off, you have to have it. It's been one of the most classic Cyrax moves is your bomb toss. Close, medium, far. A subtle detail I like
do
is
have
the
to aim.
animation actually changes depending on how she's throwing it. Like you can see,
Oh, it is changing.
the toss is just an overhead toss. Now,
an overhead
something
toss.
new, the EX version will actually track the opponent and then have a helicopter pop up for even better combos. So if the opponent's trying to run away, it'll actually follow them.
That's awesome.
18%
gonna get ya.
on its own.
Then she has a new take on the teleport.
That is
This time, it's kind of reminiscent of the human Cyrax teleport from MK9, but she leaves a bomb.
that is a fast
So she'll
teleport.
teleport behind, leave a bomb. You can see it on the floor there.
That's
or
gotta be
she
the
can
best
choose
telly
to
in
do
the
one
game.
that has faster recovery that doesn't leave a bomb. Or you can do an EX version that instead of teleporting,
Ooh.
she kind of goes back or forth in like kind of a dash kind of thing. And if you do it from full screen, she won't go in front of them. But if you're a little bit closer, she will be behind them.
More
so you can
trick.
kind of
That's
mix
sick.
it up. Exactly. And a fun little thing about all of her bomb attacks, if you hold the 4 button down, the bomb will be a fake out dud.
Oh, gotcha.
So you can
Oh.
do that with all of her bomb attacks, which is a fun little thing. You
Little
can,
mind tricks. Little mind tricks.
put out a fake bomb and then actually call a cameo, and the opponent's like trying to attack out of it.
All right, breaking down that part, having all the teleport options is kind of insane. I mean, the dash on amplified version looks really good, and you can select which side you go to. It almost looks like a reptile dash from MKX. In terms of the two teleports, the one where Cyrax doesn't leave a bomb is absurdly fast. It reminds me of either Raiden or Centrion's teleports in MK11. Super quick. But even if you just do the basic leave the bomb on the ground version of the teleport, that is still one of the fastest teleports in the game, and now the opponent has to worry about getting popped up by an explosion. Lastly, the fact that you can leave a fake one on the ground is really cool, because there's a lot of interactions in MK1 where if you were to hit the opponent and then that were to hit, the combo wouldn't actually work. Or certain moves are always blocked because the opponent is prepared to block whatever projectile or cameo move is on the ground, kind of like a Movado trap. This gives you free range to use any of your normals, which means you'll need to learn, if you're going against Cyrax, what moves actually work well for launching with Cyrax Bomb, because if you don't know what those moves are, Cyrax can go ahead and use other moves that don't actually work with the bomb at all, but launch you or mix you based on what you are doing to block the bomb setup.
The fun little thing. You
Little
can,
mind
like,
tricks. Little mind tricks.
put out a fake bomb and then actually call a cameo, and the opponent's like trying to attack out of it. Now, another one of the moves is this spinny spin kick, which the EX version has armor
Oh, it's the armor attack.
and a dive kick ender.
Ooh.
And there's an air version that will capture them in the air. And
Holy.
if the EX, she throws the net.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it,
And speaking of the
It
net,
stuns.
one more special move to show. The classic net is now this like foam goo that will trap them in place. And you get your free combo. But the EX version is similar to the classic net, but with rocket boosters that will
Whoa.
push them super far. So you'll see full screen, it pushes them far, but you're not going to combo. But if you're close to the wall, you still
Pins
do
them.
get the capture state.
That's awesome.
uh-oh, the
So
stream
it kind of
has
depends on like your
glitchies.
space control, where you're at, whether or not you're going to get a combo.
So that's, just like we've talked about, the upgrading of what was from the past to the future.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I think it's really, really cool to take a lot of the moves, what was famous about her in the past games, and what can we do that's new?
But not forgetting the net as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also not nothing but net.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, a lot of great nods to the classic. Very cool.
So, you want to finish this out with her X-ray?
Let's see it.
Okay, pretty standard. They didn't show us much there. We have no idea the range on that attack. So, yeah, not much to say about that. It looks like just confirming into a normal hit, honestly, but who knows? The meterless air version is going to be a casual player nightmare, because look how much damage that did. Just imagine getting jump kicked in auto, inputting that special move every time, and getting hit for 18% on 3 hits. That's a little wild, but we'll take that. We'll take that. The extended air version is pretty cool because it works kind of like a Gearus time freeze, where all of a sudden you're hitting the opponent and the opponent doesn't move. Now, I don't know how much we'll be able to get off of that, but again, throw in some down twos there. That's easy damage. And we can look at the top, and I feel like Movado is a hint that you could also throw down a Movado trap there and continue right afterwards into something even longer. That would be so cool. The classic net special, it seems pretty average in terms of speed. It didn't look too fast, but not too slow. I think it'll be really good for combo extensions, and also kind of annoying like Scorpion Spear, where you just need to be ready to duck it. We'll have to see what the recovery is is like on whiff when we actually get to play Cyrax, because we weren't shown it right here. So who knows if you duck it, how punishable it is, or how punishable it is on block. DX version, I think, will be pretty nuts, because if those stand for spins, you know, that we saw at the beginning of the gameplay, if that adds damage, Cyrax will be doing some crazy corner combo damage, because that is just free stand fours, your highest damage button with most characters that does the least amount of scaling. But the trade-off to me is I do think the full screen push is a little weak for using that bar in the mid screen. Don't get me wrong, it'll be really nice in some matchups, but in other matchups, like against Johnny Cage isn't really gonna care if you push him, you know, 3/4 of the screen or into the corner. Final thing I want to note from the Cyrax gameplay is the throw animation is kind of tough. Another hint to why Cyrax has Movado, it's a grounded throw, so there's no air time, meaning you can't get the air combos.
All right, that was Cyrax. Super cool. Fun bomb setups, fun tricks to play.
Lots of trickery.
And some real good mobility.
I also really liked during the fatal blow into where like the bomb rolls down and she's all flashy about it. I think that's super cool.
Hype.
Hype.
What
What do we got next?
I think we're going to now move right into talking about how Sector plays.
Ooh.
All right, so let's go into Sektor. So Sektor also has a bunch of high-tech stuff, a bunch of gadgets. Let's go into normals first.
Hard
I
knockdown.
think one of her cooler normals is her standing 2 is like this double fist rocket punch, but you can charge it up.
Ooh.
And then it gets knocked down and you get a lot more damage, but the cool thing is she can actually keep the charge by canceling it. And now you'll see her fists still have the glow and she can go straight to the powered up version. There's also a special move I'll show later that can allow you to charge it.
Spoilers.
One of her best normals is forward 2, 1, 2, which is like this advancing mid that pops up.
Everybody loves combos. Oh.
It's like a combo starter. She also has this big swingy overhead with her rocket launcher. And complement it a low with her rocket boots. She has a really cool forward 3-4, goes into the air.
Spends a lot of time in the air.
Yeah, and you can see like her rocket boosters are used in all her moves. And
Yeah.
all that. I love the effects.
Some of my favorite, like that, the finish of that move, I love.
All right, I had to stop there because we already have seen a lot. Sektor doesn't have as great of jump attacks. I saw both the jump 1 and jump 2 doesn't go near as far, which I think is fine. The overhead attack looks like it has a spot for a launch, and the low starter launches. And this one I'm guaranteed that you can do the low into a special cancel, or you can just let the whole low string rock and then convert with an ambush cameo. For this move where she can charge it up if she wants, I want to know if it can be special canceled when it's like not charged, or if it just does the hit and that's it. Forward 2-1-2 mid is going to be one of the stronger mids in the game. A lot of characters in MK1 have mids that you have, say, forward 3-2 for Scorpion, for example, where the second hit will launch just like Sektor's launches. With having the launch property being on the third hit, Sektor now has 2 hits to hit confirm into the higher damage options into a special move or a cameo. And if Sektor has neither, she could just take the third hit for a launch, and then this combo we saw was meterless. Forward 3-4, another comboable button. Now, it does look like forward 3-4, if you want to combo after that second hit, you're going to need a cameo like Scorpion cameo that can catch the opponent in the air, or Melina size with Chameleon to continue. But looking at Sektor's animation, it looks like after the first hit, if you wanted to special cancel on block or for combos, you could actually use some of your air specials, very similar to how Ermac's forward 4 works in this game. Lastly, this string right here, we haven't seen these type of moves since the game first came out. Kung Lao has a string like this, Ashra has a stun string like this. The opponent is stunned for a full combo at the end of the string, but the opponent is still considered airborne, which is why, you know, Katana is slowly falling over.
I love the effects.
Some of my favorite,
That
like
down
that,
four is
the
pretty
finish
good.
of that move, I love.
Another throw,
I love
though,
crumples like that.
where
Yes.
One of my favorite reactions in the game.
you know, you're not going to be able to
And
combo without a
I
ground
love this
cameo.
new take on the MK3 throw.
That, you know,
One of
that's
the
a little
coolest
tough
throws
for the
in the
cyborgs,
game.
but
Let's go over her special
Jump
moves.
kick looks
First,
strong.
we can start like Cyrax. She has a new mobility tool, which is these rocket boosters, which
Oh,
allow her to
no.
do an air dash.
Cool.
And she can do normal attacks from it. She can do some of the moves. She can double it. A really cool way to get around. So you'll see she can get around in the air, the opponent's going to have a hard time because of her zoning tools. She can shoot her rocket.
Oh no.
If you EX it, it actually catches them on
that's awesome.
fire and does a little damage
That looks
over
like it
time.
could have comboed too. Not gonna lie to
She
you
has
guys.
jumping rocket. If you EX this one, she can actually decide when the rocket will go off. Like you can do it early,
So meterless, it
hold
doesn't
it.
go full screen,
halfay through,
but it looks
let
like it
go, and
combos
hits
if
the
it
ground,
lands. See the
etc.
pop up?
And then she has this awesome one, probably my favorite move, the Sidewinder. And if you EX it, you get the absolute classic MK3 targeting rocket. I love when fans used to call it dumb rocket and smart rocket.
I love the targeting application
I
too
feel
on
like
the
that's
character.
another
That's really
combo.
Oh, it
Look
looks
how long
awesome.
Katana stun is.
And then one more rocket move, her anti-air rockets,
Oh.
which are also combo starter.
Oh.
Then let's go into her flamethrower. It wouldn't be Sector without a flamethrower. Regular version, this double hit, really good range. EX version, she can hold it down.
Starting with the zoning, the straight rocket is fast. I mean, yeah, on its own without bar, there's no combo to be had there, which is fine. You know, it could be fast, but that is going to be the lower rank nightmare for a lot of players. The EX one is interesting, so obviously it does more damage with the damage over time from the explosion, but also there is a pretty long stun on Katana. I'm curious to see if you could get a combo with a Cameo for that one. Maybe with, say, a Katana fan lift. If that lands full screen, you fan lift over, continue the combo. That's at least what I'm expecting, because it seems to work a lot like Scorpion's low ground flames when it hits. Jump rocket going to be annoying. Again, it's going to be a casual player nightmare, because imagine a Sector backing up on you, just shooting straight rockets, then jumping backwards and shooting the downward ones right at you. The X1 has a little pop-up, and you get to decide the timing, meaning if the opponent tries to jump to avoid it, you could explode it in the air. At least I think that's the point of it. But yeah, again, to be seen what you could do with that pop-up in terms of combos. Doesn't look like a huge bounce, so maybe something like Scorpion or Goro could pick it up with his up punch or whatever, but remains to be seen. Still just a lot of zoning. The Sidewinder rocket, I think it does that spin where it does to stop, again, people trying to jump away from the rocket. So if the opponent tries to jump towards you, I think while it's spinning, it'll hit your jump in the air, so it just kind of defends you there. But then amplified version is, yeah, homing rocket. It's gonna track you no matter what. It does cost a bar a meter, and it does look like it combos. The anti-air rockets also being a combo starter is nice. I mean, the damage right there wasn't great, but clearly that combo wasn't optimized. I mean, it just ended in a down 2, and in this game, down 2 scale really hard if used later in the combos, so it looks like a decent 1 bar combo damage will come from that. Plus, you know, anti-airing, you could probably keep comboing meterlessly, kind of like a Scorpion back 2, even though that's not a special move. Work the same way. You could do something right afterwards and continue without spending meter if it's an anti-air.
Regular version, this double hit, really good range.
far.
EX version, she can hold it down, cancel the second hit, and this has armor.
Oh,
Figured that would be the armor
She
attack.
also has Blast Shield, where she clamps her feet on the ground, puts out this. This absorbs projectiles and has some really fun follow-ups. So, the regular version, when she absorbs a projectile, she can quickly input one of her rocket moves.
so it's almost like she's sending something right back.
Exactly. Now, the EX version, she can actually do any of her special moves. I did not mean to do her X-ray. You can do her teleport, which I'm going to cover in a second. And one other cool thing about this move
Can't
is
zone
absorbing
Sector.
a projectile successfully gives you a charge of her standing 2.
That is a lot.
And then she also has the teleport, which I just said we talk about. She goes up, then she comes down. It's a combo starter. It's kind of a new take on the classic uppercut. And if you EX it, it's even more similar. It actually starts off with the punch.
Right. She is all over the screen.
Yeah, so you can see she's a character who is going to, you know, absolutely dominate the air. She can be in the air, but she's going to stop you from being in the air. So you're going to have to play the ground game. And then she has awesome range,
Great range, yeah.
awesome anti-zoning.
Just some interesting tricks too with the shield. Like, that's
Exactly,
really neat
yeah.
because your opponent's gonna have to decide if they see you use meter on that. What are you doing? Like, what's your next
Yeah.
move?
Yeah, and obviously you try to zone her to stop her zoning, and she can start absorbing your projectiles and then have her standing too, ready to go. So now we'll go into her X-ray.
Sure.
Armor looks great. It looks like it goes pretty far, and then on Amplify, that flamethrower is going virtually full screen, which is nuts, but on top of that, you also get a cancel after the flamethrower. The fact that Sektor can parry projectiles like that means not only does Sektor have all the zoning tools, also has some of the best counter zoning tools. I mean, this is better zoning than Peacemaker, just slightly worse counter zoning, because I think the, invincibility shield was a little better than having to actually parry the projectile. However, you get an automatic free combo with this one if you spend the bar, and you might even have cameos that allow you to do the meterless option where you parry it meterlessly, then spend Amplified Rocket, because you can only use one of the rocket attacks if you don't amplify the parry, and confirm with something like Katana Fan Lift. Sektor also gets an overhead meterless teleport launch, because the metered version has the upward punch like we're used to in previous games, which is kind of absurd, again, with the rest of Sektor's kit having a lot of ways to start combos.
Actually do it.
It's an overhead. I wonder how far that goes across the screen. All right, Sector Tanya fight. We're probably going to see a Sub-Zero parry in here, because Sub-Zero is being selected as a cameo for Tanya. And, maybe more Frost stuff. We'll see, even though Frost just got a new move. Let's see how at least Sektor plays in a QA testing environment. I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything for online play, but still. Oh, wall is nice there. Charged up. Oh, so you get space with that. Yeah, it costs no meter for the teleport. 26% no bar into a missile setup. Holy, you go far with that sub stuff. All right, round two. Let's see. That's down two. A pushback as well. That was Air Gas Cabal, just the first dash. Oh my. So maybe for the second one you do have to spend more. But still, the air dash meterless is nuts. Not a lot of damage for that combo route, but it is meterless, so I see why the QA tester keeps using it. Okay, fully punishable overhead if you use the teleport like that. But you see the mind game where you could fake a jump in, then all of a sudden teleport. Ooh, the double missiles. That was cool. That was cool. I mean, that's going to be impressive, though. Final round. Fight. Oh, that instant air dash is crazy. Ooh, okay. At least that overhead teleport doesn't have the greatest tracking. It's not going to be just spammed like a Shiva Stomp. Another one learned the lesson. Ooh, meterless 24%. We're seeing a lot of meterless stuff with Sektor so far. Okay, but you can just counter by jumping with this character. Oh, it's going to be bunny rabbit gameplay and zoning. And, oh. Oh, that's a cool combo route. That's a cool finisher. I mean, again, the Frost Freeze didn't, help the damage scaling, but we didn't see a lot of damage. But we also just saw Sektor combos meterless easily so that you could save your meter for, the zoning aspect of the character and the counter zoning. Anyways, see you for all the regular content I do, but I'll also be doing another one of these for Noob Cybot when his combat cast comes out. So, catch you guys next time. I'm hype. Let's go.